Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to DIY Missing Two on March, either Wednesday or Friday, because we got a wrestling magazine. And what we have this time is Wrestling's Main Event, the number one magazine for Matt fans today. This is the March of 91 issue. Now, I am sorry if I go a little fast on this one. That is mostly going to be because this will be the third time I'm attempting to do this video. The first time I wasn't paying close enough attention, I got halfway through, and my camera ran out of space. And these videos take a little, they're usually 15 to 20 minutes. The second time, the phone kept on ringing, and I hate, if I get more than 2 phone calls in a video, I trash the video and start over. Yes, I know I can pause the camera. I hate having that ringing sound there. But let's get going here. Okay, so up top, we got Buddy Landell and the girls of the WPW. Okay, I like Landell. The girls, that'd be like Medusa and all them, I'm guessing. The Steiners back on the championship trail. Sergeant Slaughter, America's traitor. Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert sets the USWA on fire. Legion of Doom, Demolition, prepare to lose your paint. Sid Vicious, Man or Monster. Is Lex Luger lost in the NWA Shuffle? Plus Chris and Tony Adams versus Steve Austin and Genie. Jerry Lawler versus Terry Funk. So it's a lot of Texas stuff, you notice. Texas and Memphis is on this cover a bunch. And then we got, what? Crockett. I don't know where Sid Vicious was at this time. I really don't know. This is, WWF. I don't know where Sid was. I'll find out when we get in here. Oh, look at that young Jeff Jarrett. I think people forget just how long Jeff Jarrett's been involved in wrestling. And yeah, he gets a lot of shit for his damn reign of terror in TNA, and I agree. I'll be honest, that era of TNA, I never gave a fuck about the main events. I was watching, like, ooh, everything but the main, tag team division's good, X division division's good, Everything but the main event time, let's go watch something else. And I'm a Jeff Jarrett fan. I grew up watching him in Memphis, and it was one of those things. Kind of like, I can understand people that never saw coming to WWF Lawler, not getting Jerry Lawler, not understanding how great he is. You grew up like I did. Grow up seeing the King every week. It's like, oh man, it's the King. That's why I'll be honest, when I met Jerry Lawler, which has been a while back now, been about 5-6 years. First time I met him. I'm standing there backstage at what is Hollywood Jimmy calls that group, like Championship Wrestling or something like this, which I think is weird because they have no belts. But you used to always run the Isle of Capri and Lula, so we just called it Isle of Capri Lula, or Lula. He ran, it's usually Memphis Reunion Legend shows. You had Lawler and Boogie Woogie Jimmy Valiant, surprise appearance from Tracy Smothers and all this stuff. But it's after the show, we're backstage, which just means behind the curtain. Standing there waiting on a buddy of ours just taking a promo picture of everybody. Now here, I see Mr. Lawler over there, my buddy's taking a picture, and he says something to my buddy, and my buddy's like, he points, I hear these exact words. See the tall, hairy, goofy looking guy over there? That's blah, blah, blah. He's our local, like, rare footage guy. He might have it. And Mr. Law comes along, oh, Mr. Law. He's like, it's Jerry. Shake his hand, introduce myself. But when I set my hand up to shake his hand, my hand was like, here, I'll get it on camera. My hand was like, just shaking. He's looking at me like, I'm sorry, sir. I've been watching you since far back as I can remember. I'm in my 40s, but I've been watching you since, I can't remember never not seeing Jerry Lawler on TV wrestling. All right, let's get back into the mag here. Volume 8, number 5. Let's picture a hawk with the mag. Damn it, where's that glare coming from? That one? All right, hold on. I got a solution for this, y'all. I'll call it. You like to give me a glare. Let's see if this works. We're going to try. Get your Walmart bag if you got kind of lights like I do where their bulb's not exposed. That made a difference. All right, we got Slaughter and what? I guess that's probably us, Bruce Pritchard. Warrior whipping the belt around. Look at that picture of Hot Stuff. There he is against Cactus Jack. Old Mick Foley. Mick Foley when he was young. So many people are used to old Mick Foley now. Terry Funk. This is all TWA stuff, I'm betting you. I was like, wrestling lines, but basically it's what ended up kind of becoming ECW. Ty Gordon, a little bit of ECW talent involved there backstage. It was running the same general area. Excuse me. Whew. Sergeant Slaughter, America's Trainer. I love the picture. He's got the G.I. Joe patch on. Saying that's why he left WWF. Y'all don't know. He was being built up real big in WWF. Then all of a sudden he just leaves. It's because they wouldn't let him do the G.I. Joe deal, and he made a fortune off that. Plus, with that deal, and like when he was working at AWA, he didn't work as long. He could work in way more than normal. Because even kids that didn't give a fuck about wrestling don't want to go beat each other hard. Because every boy, pretty much every male I knew back in that era watched G.I. Joe and Real American Hero. Came on Monday through Friday. My area came on after school. I know I've heard some areas that came on before. Most areas came on like 3:30, 4, somewhere around there. And like in my area, it was a big thing when it moved from Channel 15, which was in Mobile, which meant either you got it on with an antenna or you got it on local cable, like all the local cable, because Channel 15 was like the Fox affiliate for the area, pretty much. When it moved from that to Channel 44 out of Pensacola, most of your cables didn't carry it, but if you had an antenna rabbit ears, you could get. So like half my friends couldn't watch G.I. Joe. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll take it. G.I. Joe was huge. You had to be around. G.I. Joe was huge. I'm glad it's coming back. That's when he became the Iraqi sympathizer. Stupid angle. Didn't offend me. I just thought it was a stupid angle. Introducing Nikki Air Hawks. No clue who this guy is, but look at this weird ass belt. They build the fuck out. But here's the thing. Agent Orange is a guy in camo with a mask on. If you ever have Ego come back on a regular basis, or like next year GSA, I want to see Agent Orange in it. You know, Oblivion might become Agent Orange. You know, maybe Dynamite J. Andrews gets knocked in the head and he wakes up and he's Agent Orange, or you know, Mississippi Madman, or you know, somebody. Hell, I got camo. I put a mask on and take 2 punches and fall down and lose to somebody. I could do that. Another one of these Jonathan Boy things on Scotty the Body was they're hyping the fuck out of Raven back then. This is the women's wrestling matches, but like Malaya Hosaka, they got Fabulous Moolah, Linda Dallas, Misty Blue, Comrade Olga. I love their tape reviews, and I've done this one so many times. I'm gonna do it quick. This is probably my favorite page every issue. They just take 3, professional release tapes, no, traded tapes, and give them reviews. Okay, WWF World Tour. No, tells you what company comes out and costs. Coliseum video, $39.95. Man, that's a lot. And real quick, Cindy, I cannot remember your last name, man. You do the Game Show Garbage website. I don't know if you watch this or not. I know you posted on the forum. I'm gonna send the link out to you on there. But you were doing the Coliseum home videos. I was really loving it, and then you quit. Are they coming back? It's been a little while. And I understand, stuff gets in the way and stuff, but really enjoyed those. Wrestling quality, B-, because you got like Snuka versus Zukov, and then Snuka versus Honky Tonk Man, Brett versus Dino Bravo, Rocker versus Rougeos, Warrior defending WWE title against in Japan against Teddy DiBiase. That'd be cool. Dugan versus Honky Tonk from London, and Hogan versus Savage from France. Okay. Presentation of Wrestling non-wrestling video. That's where they get the lowest rate. I gotta see mine just because they had 2 special segments on stage which are totally unnecessary and should not have been included. A special on Hogan walking around Paris on a tour. Who cares? And a profile on Jimmy Hart, which tells us nothing, is totally boring. All the matches completely good. B-. Not one of the better tapes. They mentioned the Warrior DiBiase, which I've heard that's a good match. I've never actually seen it. I was a kid where if I rented wrestling tapes, like, I rented pay-per-views. Like for WWF, I always read a pay-per-view stuff. I would not read the other tapes because I'm like, ugh. Who gives a shit about these matches? I don't even know pay-per-views when the big matches happen. They'd already trained me to pay-per-views when the big matches happen. House show matches don't mean shit. After I house show and saw Warrior win the IC title belt back from Rick Rude, and then made sure I did not miss a bit of WWF TV that I got at the time for 3 weeks, and they never made mention of it. I'm like, oh. So, and I didn't call it a house show. I called it, what I call them back then, non-tape shows. Oh, they didn't film that one, so it don't count. That was a tryout. And speaking of pay-per-views, 3rd annual Survivor Series 89 Coliseum home video, $40, of course. Wrestling quality B+, so better than the other one. Okay, we got Santana, Red Rooster. I'm assuming Dusty Rhodes and Bruce Beefcake taking on Rip Martel, Honky Tonk Man, Boss Man, and Bad News Brown. Dugan, Hercules, Ronnie Garvin, and Bret Hart, I would guess, taking on Randy Savage, Gray Valentine, Dino Bravo, and Earthquake. Jake Roberts, Demolition, and Hogan taking on Ted DiBiase, Powers Pain, and Zeus. Oh, that can't be good. Non-wrestling material, no clutter, no interviews. Interviews come on largely short and on point. Take quality, including cuts, complete matches, A as always. Hey! Wrestling Classics, which usually they give this kind of stuff a higher. This is just old stuff like Gorge George, Jesse James, Killer Kowalski versus Eduardo, Carpentier, Hayes Hudson versus Killer Brooks, newsreel footage. B for quality, conversation and non-wrestling material, B minus. Because the newsreel, they make this mention most of the newsreel footage, like the commentators making fun of it. C, because the match in the early days, so they don't look the best, but they are complete ones in color, B minus. I want the Swish and Olds book. There's 3 of them. Jerry Lawler regains the USWA World Title. That was the Memphis belt, and what happened was when he gained he won the AWA title, and like, didn't he like unify with the WC World Class title or something like that? So it became like the Memphis Unified title when they left the AWA. These kind of kept on calling it. They call it a World Title, a Unified title forever. It's Memphis, man. Memphis is only fed to be because they were just so good. Memphis was Chikara without the goofiness turned up to 12. It was just turned up to 8. And that's why it blows my mind. You go watch old Memphis, and you can tell when Jerry Lawler, because he went Jerry Lawler booking for like 6 to 8 months. Jerry Jarrett booking for 6 to 8 months. You can tell when Lawler is booking because the goofy stuff happens, like the kisser and all the goofy gimmicks, and that's why you're like, okay, Lawler doesn't drink. Swears up and down he's never done drugs. And because his vices are Coca-Cola, women, and like old horror movies and sci-fi stuff, but dude. You're coming up with the kind of shit we used to come up with when we get fucked up. Like, oh man, it'd be amazing. You had a wrestler dressed up as Freddy Krueger called Nightmare Freddy, and it's Doug Gilbert. You know, it's kind of shit you come up with when you're fucked up. Total Confusion, Halloween Havoc. Oh, Mean Mark and WFA. This is when they're trying to figure out the egg that's gonna bust open the Survivor Series, and it was the gobbledygooker. It was a wrestler, but it wasn't Mean Mark Callis, the Egg Man, which. I just saw they made a Mean Mark Callis wrestling figure, which I want because all I ever saw him, and I saw like 2 matches. I saw when he was a skyscraper, and I never realized, but then how much he looked at my buddy Russell. What's going on, Russell? With the short hair, and that's look Undertaker. You and Undertaker favored each other a lot. So if you're not as tall, Russell's like 6'4", 6'5". He's one of the guys where I'm like, damn, you a little taller than me, you motherfucker. But it ended up being, like I said, Hector Barrows, but he did come over, Dustin Rhodes. If I ever get to him, meeting Thompson for the second time. But look at this, man. I love when they show guys like old Brickhouse Brown. I love the old varsity club there. Brad Anderson. Dr. Tom Pritchard, blonde hair, met Dr. Tom. Boy Gone Bad. And I love how they cover all kinds of like Pacific Northwest and TWA and South Atlantic Pro and Atlantic States and Georgia All Star and IWA and. Listen to this show. The IWA announced its return to TV in November, starting November 4th. The IWA has agreements with several companies which will allow wrestling fans in various parts of the country to watch the IWA action. Fans in Ohio, Mississippi, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, Indiana, Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Nevada, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, Michigan, New Jersey, Nebraska, Vermont, Puerto Rico, and upstate New York will view the IWA Wrestlers Weekly on TV and soon in person. The new contract more than doubles the potential audience the IWA with Sports Channel America, and the promotion is continuing to negotiate a new TV contract with the networks also. Wrestlers who have appeared recently in the IWA include Preston Steele and his valet, Noel, Chief Jules Strongbow. That's not the one I'm thinking of. That's Jason I'm thinking of. Cousin Luke, Boy Gone Bad. Look at that hair. That hair gone bad. Larry Winters, DC Drake, the Motor City Hitmen, the Executioner, Thunderfoot, the Dream Warriors, Lethal Larry Cameron, and others. IWA has been determined to name a heavyweight champion, tag team champion, and U.S. heavyweight champion. Sunshine Wrestling Alliance, which is in Florida. Windy City Wrestling. Like I said, that's why Texas Wrestling. I love they covered all Pro Wrestling America, all these old little tiny fests. Chris Adams Family Feud. And you see this cocky looking guy with the nice looking blonde nose on it? That is Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And his wife, Jean Newtime, came with the name Stone Cold. I don't know what she got in divorce, but in my mind, because she helped him go name Stone Cold, she should get, like, for the years they're married, 1% of the money he made off the Stone Cold merch. And because he was Stone Cold, just 1%. That's still a nice little chunk of change, She probably did that or better, but. Jean, there's Tony, there's Chris. And these women were, like, skin-tight aerobics gear, and it was not live, but I've heard that back in the day, there's a lot of complaints online on TV. TV because, like, nip slips and stuff. I'm like, I don't remember seeing, but I was watching it on a small older TV. Like this was what years? Yeah, I was watching USWA Texas USWA every day on ESPN by then, and I'm watching on probably like a 15, 20 inch, the biggest TV in my room, and our cable was never the best. Yeah, I love this shit. This is the second era of me just being huge into wrestling for a short while. Like when I was a kid, I was big into it till about 87. I kind of started fading out because we lost a bunch of WWF shows syndicated. UWF folded. I want to say this is around time when like we lost Memphis too. Like we quit getting Memphis. There was no Florida TV. I'm like, you know what? I got like one WWF show and some other stuff. I just kind of faded. We got cable. I got back in, but I wasn't watching like WWF and Crockett. I was watching USWA and shit like this. As always, great pictures. Freebirds, that of course. Sid Vicious, Man or Monster. Oh! He's in Crockett then. Is that Tom Zink? Why are you locking up on Tom Zink there? Sid's one of those guys when you think wrestler, pro wrestler, this is what you picture in your head, and he's got a weird cruise, he just sucks in the ring. Kind of like Luger. I'm not a big Luger fan. Great poster, Sid. See, if they were just at ads, I'd pop every one of these out and sell them. Luger lost in the NWA Shuffle. Slammers Wrestling Gym, the wrestling fans in place to be in Los Angeles by Sandy Kretz. Vern Langdon, the head slammer. Billy Anderson and Matthew Estambuli, I guess, have Adam Michaels caught. Sam Houston helping to train American Gladiator Malibu. Bill instructs Al Brett's Art of Grappling. Sam and Malibu pose in front of the gorgeous Georges. Malibu, man, his wife became a wrestler. Slammers Wrestling Gym is an attraction, a recreational wrestling center, museum, and Hall of Fame. The only such professional wrestling museum, hall, and Hall of Fame in the entire world. We are in University of Professional Wrestling. I don't know. I don't think Slammers is still around. I really don't. The WPW, the new faces, talent, image of girl wrestling. Let's see. Denise Storm, Velvet McIntyre, Sue Green. That's Peggy Lee Leather. I knew that. In our continued series of articles focused on ladies wrestling, we look at the new Women's Professional Wrestling Organization, which has several videotapes on the market and is about to start a world tour in late January. Here's a brief introduction to the WPW Summit stars. Women's wrestling got a good little boom in the 80s that they tried to continue into the 90s and just fizzled out. But what happened was like in WWF, you had Wendy Richter blown up because of the Cyndi Lauper stuff, the Rock and Wrestling Connection. That became huge. And then, Wendy left WWF. And then Crockett would bring in like Misty Blue here and there, if I remember right. But the big one was Glow came out and was huge. And for y'all that are too young to remember, okay, y'all know how, if you're old enough, you know how big the Glow show on Netflix was for like the first two seasons. My third season is following up, but how big it was, everybody's watching. The Glow TV show, because it was syndicated over the airwaves, was 3 times bigger. Everybody watched Glow. I mean, seriously, like even people who weren't in wrestling watched Glow. It was wrestling mixed with hee-haw skits. When that ended, you had POW, you had LPWA, and all these women's feds starting up at WPW, trying to take some of that. Oh, I never even heard Denise Storm before. Let's see. Sue Green, Debbie Combs, Dangerous Denise Storm. Dangerous Denise, Sue Green's Olympia shirts. Jerry Lawler versus Terry Funk, a fall brawl in Philadelphia, PA. Go look up Tri-State Wrestling Alliance on YouTube. A lot of this stuff is up on there because I don't really know, who owns it anymore, but a lot of stuff on YouTube. A lot. Like a whole lot. More than I expected. Let's see. Good pictures. A lot of good pictures. The women's wrestling mixed match tumbles, Nancy Test Raquel, Rough and Ready bruising belters, battling bays, boxing beauties, anniversary special, fettered femmes, fighting felines. Yeah, bloody funk. Buddy Lindell, the mouth that roared. Buddy Lindell is back in the NWA after a 5-year absence. Last time He wrestled for the organization. He created a lot of havoc with his manager, James J. Dillon. Listen to Buddy's own words. It looks like he's going to create even more havoc this time around. And I don't think he lasted very long. They always sold out the belt buckle, man. What the fucking belt buckle so bad? The Steiners back on the championship trail. That belt buckle it reminds me of is if you ever played Extreme Warfare Revenge, the simulation game on the computer. And I did this on some of the games on like the PlayStation shit. I always created my own wrestling file. I called it DRR, Drunken Redneck Rampage Wrestling. DRRR. And their big title, world title, was one big damn belt buckle. And it would have been something like that, just a big ass belt buckle. And we're like, oh, that's my belt. I like the rookie of the year was like the Skull Bandit rookie of the year. Yeah, it was stupid shit. Steiners. I've seen the Steiners versus Gordy and Williams. Not too long after this, actually. Beach West 92. Steiners are one of my favorite teams. Never a big Legion of Doom fan, honestly. Part of it was because there was AWA, Georgia, and Crockett, and I didn't get a lot of Crockett. I didn't see Georgia often, AWA, So by the time I saw them often, they were in WWF, and I've been told they were just not nearly as good. I get them. And it's like, they're one of the ones where, when their box set for WWE came out, the DVD set, I bought it, watched it once, and sold it. Well, every match, they just come out and beat the fuck out of somebody real quick. All right, top 20 as of October 22nd, 1990. This is March of 91. Wow. Sting is NWA World Champ. Warriors, number 2, WWF World. Flair at 3, number 1 contender, NWA. Luger, U.S. Champ at 4. Lawler, USWA Champ at 5. Zbyszko, AWA Champ at 6. Kerry Von Erich, IC Champ at 7. Arn Anderson, NWA TV Champ at 8. Hulk Hogan, number 1 contender, WWF title at 9. Kurt Hennig, number 1 contender, IC title at 10. Number 11 is Randy Savage, number 2 contender WWF title. Number 12 is Dusty Rhodes, number 3 contender WWF title. Number 13, Riki Choshu, who is the IWGP champion. Then number 14, Big Van Vader, number 1 contender for the IWGP belt. Stan Hansen's the All Japan Triple Crown. At 15, 16 is Million Dollar Champion, Ted DiBiase. 17 is World's Toughest Wrestler, Steve Williams. I love that. I really do. I love it. Where is Steve Williams right now? No clue. But I love that. Everybody else has got like contendership. He's just World's Toughest Wrestler. Oh, number 18, Terry Gordon, number 1 contender, Triple Crown. Number 19, Jeff Jarrett, USA Southern Champion. That's like their secondary title. And number 20, Eddie Gilbert, number 1 contender, Southern title. Tag team, the Legion of Doom. That's the WWF champs. Doom, NWA champs. Steiner, NWA US. I'm sorry, Legion of Doom is number 1 contenders, but the Hart Foundation is the champions are listed lower than them. What the fuck? Demolition, number 2 contenders. Midnight Express, number 1 contenders. US title, Rockers. Doug Gilbert and Dirty White Boy, who are the US champion, USWA champions. Trooper and DJ Peterson, AWA, and then Anderson and Flair. Yeah. Man, look at AWA in 90. Oh, God, late 90. Flair's business champ. Okay, to Trooper, that is Del Wilkes. He's decent. Baron Rash ain't worth the shit. Colonel De Beers is okay. Harley Race. Blackjack, Scott Norton, DJ Peterson. Hey, DJ Peterson, is that? One of those is Del Wilkes. The Russian Brute known as Buck Zumoff and Johnny Stewart. But world class. Angel of Death, Kevin Von Erich, Hollywood John Tatum, Billy Joe Travis, Gary Young, Steve Austin, Iceman King Parsons, Sweet Brown Sugar, Steve Dane, and Rod Price. See our women here. Susan Sexton, Misty Blue Sims, Sensational Sherry, Bambi, Candy Divine, Heidi Lee Mogan, Magnificent Mimi, Velvet McIntyre, Malaya Hosaka, Penelope Paradise. We're almost done, everybody. Great picture of Vader. Ravishing Rick Rude and Akeem leave the WWF. More wrestlers to follow. In a late-breaking story received just as going to press, it was announced that Ravishing Rick Rude and Akeem left the WWF due to contract disputes, and more wrestlers are leaving WWF following Survivor Series on Thanksgiving. Men who wrestle for WWF make a lot of money. More money than most wrestlers do, but most wrestlers get paid depending upon the gate or paid admissions to the card. WWF Wrestling gets the highest attendance figure in the sport, but since WrestleMania 6, the WWF attendance has been down drastically, which means the wrestlers have been making less money than before. Drew felt he wasn't getting the proper pay based on attendance figures and quit. Akeem was traveling and quit to spend more time near his home. Because WWF attendance is way down, other wrestlers have been way out after Survivor Series because the WWF is going to cut down the number of cards per week, consolidated the talent on 2 cards per day instead of 4. The promotion hopes this move will make for better overall cards with better matches on them, bringing more people out to see the live arena shows. Rumors are flying about just about who might be leaving WWF after Survivor Series, but several common names have been mentioned from various sources. These common names include Nikolai Volkov, Greg Valentine, Honky Tonk Man, the tag team known for them Blues, Jake Roberts, and the Bushwhackers, and up to 10 more. WWF is in a crisis period right now. Their star attraction, Hulk Hogan, now not wrestling very often these days, as he has movie commitments to fulfill. In contrast to the NWA, which is bringing in new talent all the time, the WWE brought in new faces over the past year, and the fans are tired of seeing the same old faces every month. And many fans are beginning to realize that WWF isn't really a sport, nor is it been entertaining over a long period of time. There's also a nationwide recession to deal with, and families are watching more carefully how they spend money. With wrestling overexposed on TV, families are voting to get their wrestling entertainment on TV for free rather than spend large sums of money to see it in person. That's true. Maybe time for WWF and NBA, for that matter, to start listening to the fans and give them what they want rather than giving them what these promotions want them to see. What do fans want? Quality matches between top contenders who are competitive with each other, interesting foods, cheaper prices for seats, and fresh faces to root for and hate. Until the wrestling promotions address their problems and move to correct them, attendance and interest in sport will continue to fall, at least in the so-called major promotion. This is why WME always urges readers to support the independent wrestling. There's always good action, and fans always get their money's worth. More and more wrestlers are showing away from the national promotion, which means independent wrestling promotions are able to promote better, more entertaining matches for the fans to support them. Local promotions are the future of sport. Get in the ground level, support your indie promotions today. Good way to end it. Okay. Great picture of Vader, and then on the back, Rude versus Warrior in a cage. Well, God, that was almost 30 minutes, y'all. I'm out. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, there's that thumb. Laters.